Great lineup today. Great show. You're watching Wager Talk today. Welcome, everybody. We got a ton of betting information ahead. We got Ralph Michaels joining us right off the bat. He's going to look at a Toronto-Milwaukee bet. Seattle's and the White Sox. He's got a chart for us for baseball bettors. Tokyo Brandon as well, all baseball, Seattle and the White Sox. Interesting. Two bets on the same game. And Boston and Philadelphia. We're going to end the show with Art DiCesare. My brother Teddy in his new glasses. What is your big game breakdown?
Big game breakdown? Yeah, you better believe on a baseball show in June, we're going to talk Week 1 NFL. We're also going to talk NFL in What Bettors Learn. Talk about the Week 1 numbers and what we can learn already from how they've moved off the openers. So we'll get a little NFL talk in today as well as some baseball. Lots of baseball. And Art DiCesare will talk about everything. Lawrence?
Let's go. Ralph Michaels, how are you, my friend? It's $2 Tuesday. You are the man.
Hey, 5% play. It's been a good month of actually 2 good months of baseball. So I am honored to be the $2 capper. It is a 5% play. 5% sides, MLB sides, 6-1. Last 10 5%, 8-2. $2. That's it.
There we go. We'll talk about that a little later. Let's get into. So your no-run first inning. Last time you were on, I think it was like 30-1 or something. It was an unbelievable record that you had put out. You have a bet for us today. Talk to us.
Prez, that record, I like your 30-1, but it's actually 38-13, still 75%. I do want to preface this. For about the last 20 days, they've all been client plays. I actually did not make this a client play. I still loaded it as a free play, and it will count on that record. But it was just the starters didn't excite me enough to make it a play. But it is game 971, 972, Toronto and Milwaukee, under half a run first inning, minus 125. It's Kikuchi and Rodriguez. You look at Toronto. We've talked about Toronto several times about no-run first innings and how they just do not score in the first. They're 7-1 no-run first inning the last 8. And they're 24-3, no-run first inning their last 27 games. You look at Milwaukee, 5-2, no-run first inning the last 7, and they've scored a first inning run only once in their last 11 games. And I also want to bring up points, 8.5% difference from totals of 8.5 or less and totals of 9 or more. So it's nice when it makes sense and the numbers prove that theorem.
So here's the question, Ralph. Is there any correlation between these no-run first innings and a full game under? Both these teams, let's just say their lineups have been spotty of late. Neither team's really hitting the ball particularly well. Would a full game under here make sense as well? Is there any correlation between NFRI and full game unders? Or is this a completely separate wager? We don't even want to think about the game. It's all about the get-go for these two lineups.
Well, Teddy, I don't have the answer to that. I just don't want to make one up now. But, you look at these lineups and, in the last 7 games, you said Toronto's batting .210. Last 7 games, Milwaukee batting .235. You look at, Kikuchi, he's 5-8 over/under on the year, but his last 3 games have gone over the total. Rodriguez, we have a first-time starter. So I will actually look that up to see how many times a no-run first inning does not happen and the game goes under, and how many times a team does have a run in the first inning and it goes over. I'll tell you what, I'll tweet those results out, guys, at Cal Sports LV. Follow me, Teddy, and I'll give you your answer later today.
There we go, guys. Make sure to follow Ralph Michaels' Twitter. And that's not the only type of information he gives out. One of the best Twitter followers I know, especially in the betting world. Ralph, Seattle. They're playing the White Sox tonight. You like Seattle minus 1.5. Tell us why.
Well, it's interesting. I know Tokyo Brandon's going to be talking about this game as well, but it's neat to be able to get different perspectives how to bet a team you like. On the money line, on the run line, the first five. Tokyo Brandon's going to be talking about pitchers outs. So while we're talking about this game, they're two completely separate bets. First, let's talk about Seattle. I've got to say this. We always remember our bad beats, guys, right? But I had Seattle last night, so that was a good beat, -1 run. They were down 3 runs in the 7th inning. They tie it up, and they have a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 9th. So it's nice when you win a game by 4 on a walk-off. First I want to mention is this. I am taking a home team and using the run line. Well, there's a different line on the away run line and the home run line. I went back the last 20 years. When you have a 200 favorite at home, the average run line is plus 103.6. If you have a 200 favorite on the road, where you always are going to get 9 at-bats, you're laying 123.8. So it's a 30-cent difference from a road run line favorite and a home run line favorite. And the home run line favorite actually has a positive ROI, where the away run line favorite is a negative. The White Sox, horrible on the road. 5-27 this season, 1-11 since May the 17th. And when you look at the White Sox 50 losses this year, 39 of them, or 78%, have been by 2 runs or more. So it's a team you don't have to worry about playing against in the run line. Seattle, 18-4 at home as a favorite or small dog. And when they are a home favorite of 135 or more, 11 of those 14 wins have been by 2 runs or more. Woo, just incredible numbers. 6 starts this year. In 6 starts, the guy has allowed 4 runs, 16 hits in 34 2/3 innings. He has a 1.07 ERA, a 0.53 whip. And how's this for a system? I talked about Seattle's comeback last night. If a team is trailing after 7 innings by 3 runs or more, they come back and win that game by 2 runs or more. Since 2016, they're 37-10 the next game. That is plus 34.2% ROI, and that has gone 10-0 the last 2 years. Again, that is a team that was trailing by 7 or more by 3 or more after the 7th inning, and they end up winning that game by 2 or more. Now, this was very close to being a client play, but it fell just short. Why? You look at the White Sox, their last 4 games, they've put up 21 runs and 34 hits. Their bats have come alive. And when we look at who's going on the mound for the White Sox, it's a question mark. The kid is Drew Thorpe. The funny thing is, Drew Thorpe went to San Luis Obispo with Wu. They were actually teammates together. I looked. They finished 4th in the conference with 2 major league pitchers. That's sort of surprising. Wu started with the Yankees. Thorpe started with the Yankees. He pitched with them for 2 years in Double-A, went 14-2 with a 2.1 ERA. He got traded to San Diego, then got traded to the White Sox this year. This season, he's 7-1 with a 1.35 ERA, but that was at Double-A. The White Sox are bringing him straight up from Double-A instead of Triple-A. So with the White Sox batting well and the unknown of a pitcher who's pitched great in the minors but has never pitched over Double-A, it was enough to keep me off this as a client release, but it's still a very strong play, which I'll load as a free play, and I was very close to using as a client release.
So the White Sox have played .250 baseball through a full, more than a third of the season. Right now, when we look at MLB profitability, there's only 3 teams in baseball that have lost more than 8 units this season. The Astros have lost 15 if you bet them every game. The Marlins have lost 16 if you bet them in a game. And the White Sox have lost 25 units if you bet them every single game. From this moment forward, we have a team playing .250 baseball. They're down 25 units. And it's only the 11th of June. Do we fade Chicago? Do we just keep fading them? Or at some point, will the markets crash enough on this team? Because The wise guys aren't backing them. The recreational bettors aren't backing them. It feels to me like the lines for the White Sox right now have reached a point that maybe there's some value there. What do you think?
Teddy, on the road, I think we absolutely fade them. You know, I read this morning that their manager talked about pulling up this pitcher. He's never even seen him pitch. He just saw a film of him, and they decided to pull him up. They have pulled up 3 AA players already this year. When you're into June and you already have brought 3 AA players up, you're playing young kids, and you're going to see how they pan out to see if you can do with the future. With that type of mentality and playing young kids, I'm not afraid to fade them on the road 1 iota.
Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, please take a second out of your day and hit that like button. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe to our channel. 159,000 of you have already subscribed. Let's get to 160 by the end of the week. Ralph, Teddy, some of the guys in the chat room led by JC are asking if either of you have an opinion on the Tigers and Nationals total. Ralph?
I do not. I have done very few totals. I just haven't gotten in rhythm with totals. So if things aren't going well, I don't break down many events. So sorry, I can't help you in that one.
Yeah, I didn't have a strong take on the total. I had a lean towards Washington on the side. I did not pull the trigger. My lean was the Nats. I didn't have a strong take on the total.
And Rastaman Red. I like that name. He wants to know if either of you guys, and I can tell you I don't ever. Do you guys ever bet first 3 innings? A third of the game? Ralph?
I never have once, so.
Me either. Teddy? No.
Yeah, they're not.
There we go, guys. We're trying to
available. I don't see them.
Yeah,
I mean, see 3rd inning, 3 inning lines. Do you see them all the time?
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. They're not.
Well, we got to try answer the questions. We never know. Ralph, you've got a chart for us. Let's get into that.
Well, how many times do you hear, oh, this team lost as a favorite, I want to bet on them in the next game? So what I did is I broke up favorites at minus 125 or higher. If you're a 112 favorite, are you really a favorite? So I just randomly picked some numbers. So the chart has 3 parts. I went back to 2018, and these are teams that are off a home loss as a favorite. In the gray, you see if a team lost as a favorite of minus 125 to minus 174. The middle, the gray is the total of being off a loss as a favorite from minus 175 to minus 224. And the bottom third of the chart is if you're off a loss as a favorite of minus 225 and higher. So let's just look at the 3 gray areas since 2018. If you're off a loss as a small favorite, you're down 111 units, minus 7% ROI. If you're off a medium range loss as a favorite, you're minus 2.9% ROI. And if you're off a loss as a big favorite, you're still negative minus 2.0 ROI. But again, there's always a couple things that pop out. Take a look at series game 1s. The top part, you're minus 10.1% ROI. The middle part, you're minus 6.5% ROI. The bottom part, you're minus 13.1% ROI. So if you are off a loss of any size home favorite, and now you're playing the opening game of a series, it has been a very strong fade to look in those situations. So again, a lot of data. I will post this on Twitter after, but I know, Teddy, we like picking one thing that jumps out to me. This is it to me. Do not think it's an advantage to bet a series game 1 team off a loss as a home favorite in any instance.
Earlier this year, Ralph, you posted a chart that had like favorites by month, I believe it was. And it showed that MLB favorites were at their worst in April, when the betting markets don't necessarily know how good teams actually are, only how good they're supposed to be. And the other month that stood out to me was September, where you have all the call-ups and you have a fair few upsets. And the favorites were poor, noticeably poor. in April and September. That's what I remember from a chart earlier this year. Does this correlate with that at all? Is this a scenario where April and September are the times that we want to be fading these teams in game ones as opposed to in the midsummer months where the dogs sometimes go to die? Or is there no correlation between the two? Do you remember the chart I'm talking about?
I do, Teddy, and I remember the chart very well. We talked about how much sense it makes, but as far as being off a loss as a favorite, I don't have that correlation, and I never ran that, but it is, it was a good chart. It got a lot of retweets. I'll mark that down, and I'll post that this week as well on Twitter now. And I will say, I'll take a look at what size favorites lost in what months and see if there is a correlation. So that's why I enjoy doing these charts. And again, these charts all come from people on Twitter who said, hey, can you run this? And I look at scenarios, and it's not always a wow chart, but it's all helping us become better bettors by learning. People think, oh, you have to have an ATS system that's 60% or higher, or you have to have an ATS system that's 40% or lower. But we often learn as much from a 50-50 chart that maybe we thought or had in our mind it was a positive, and it's not a positive or a negative, or likewise. So even 50-50 data is, and that's why I always enjoy running the situations that you and Prez bring up. Even if it isn't a wow number, we all benefit from knowing what those numbers are and how those situations have played out.
Ralph Michaels, outstanding stuff. Guys, if you've never purchased from WagerTalk before, today is your day. Every Tuesday, we take the number one handicapper at that time, sell his play for only $2. To give you perspective, Ralph Michaels is on an 8-2 run in his 5% max plays, 5-1 in his 5% max baseball plays, and he's on a 31-17 baseball run. He's absolutely seeing it well. This play should cash. It's only $2. I think that's less than a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. Ralph, good luck, my friend. We will all be praying that you kick ass.
Thanks, guys.
Well, okay. Ralph Michaels. Teddy, I got so much to talk to Art about. I can't wait to have him on. I'm definitely want to talk about the Edmonton, Florida series. Brian Leonard last night with a 5% bet on Edmonton. I had a 2% bet on Edmonton. Florida outplayed them, but man, Bobrovsky, the goaltender for Florida, standing on his head. We'll talk to Art DiCesare about some hockey when we get there. What did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Well, we're going to talk a little NFL on today's show. NFL is always king. And I want to talk about the NFL openers. When they came out about a month ago, I came on the show and I gave my official openers. It was after the draft. And here we are more than a month later. We haven't talked about it. What's moving for week one and why? The answer, not much. I mean, really. We look at the week one numbers right now. Baltimore, KC on the Thursday night. Yeah, it was mostly 2.5, 20 at the open. Now there are threes out there. You can find a +3 with Baltimore. That wasn't there at the opener. But from 2.5 -20 to +3 even money, it's a little move. What else have we seen? We've seen some Jacksonville money for week one. There were 4s out there. Miami -4. Now it's 3/3.5 is the prevailing number. A little bit of under money in that game as well. The one move that's real, we're seeing Steelers money against the Falcons for week one. That got bet off the key number of 3, 2, 2.5 now, and the leading indicator books are telling us that Pittsburgh is an attractive choice in the opener against the Falcons as an underdog. We've seen a little bit of Vikings money that opened Giants -1. Now it's more pick'ems. We've seen a little bit of over money for Arizona Buffalo. That was 47.5, 48. Now it's 48/48.5. We've seen a little bit of Texans money. That was -1/-2. Now it's 2/2.5 for the Texans as road favorites at Indy. And we've seen a little bit of over money for Denver, Seattle. That was as low as 41.5. The 41.5s are gone now. It's all 42/42.5s. What do all these line moves have in common? They're little. All right. NFL markets, they're pretty static in June. When I do this against a month from now, I don't expect a whole lot of movement between now and then either. Once we see the camps open in July, that's when the markets start moving. Between now and then, it's mostly dead time for these NFL Week 1 openers. There you have it, Prez. That's what I paid attention to last night. Back to you, my friend.
Brother, public service announcement. I'm going to see the Australian Pink Floyd tonight at the Danforth Music Hall in case anyone's in Toronto and has nothing to do. I think there's a few tickets available. I know that they are in Las Vegas sometime in August. If ever Australian Pink Floyd is in your town, please make sure to go see them. This is not any cover band. This is likely the largest cover band on the planet. They play in front of 40, 50,000 people's stadiums in Europe. They have a multi-million-dollar lighting rig. They are fully loaded with talent. They have 3 incredible backup singers. The Greatest Gig in the Sky is magnificent. We will never get to see a Pink Floyd concert again. Roger and David hate each other, and I can understand why from David's perspective. And I think Nick Mason or Rick Wright, one has passed away. So Pink Floyd is done. This is as good as it gets. If ever Australian Pink Floyd is in your town, even if you don't like Pink Floyd, the tickets are like $60, $70. 100% worth going. And Teddy, I'll pay for your ticket in August.
Lance. I look forward to that. I
want
hope
you to
have
go.
many, many trips down to Las Vegas so we can hang out every single day.
Please, God, no. I'm coming down on Friday. You're going to play in the seniors event, yes or no? I know you're on the fence.
I'm still on the fence. We'll see what happens next week.
Guys, try to push Teddy over the edge. He is going to be running a GoFundMe page. Hashtag Teddy Seniors Event. Play with me, dude. I know that sounds wrong, and I don't want you to actually play with me, but play poker with me at the seniors this year. Come on, dude. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be at your table anyway, so it's unless we meet at the final table. We'll see how it goes. So I got a lot of moving pieces over the next 2 weeks.
Tokyo Brandon joining us. Did Kiss ever have a #1 song? Oh my God! What? Whoa! What are you doing?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Kiss, you haven't seen his videos.
You got to be kidding me. Kiss has more #1 songs. Kiss has more #1 songs than Pink Floyd.
Yes, that's 100% right. Is this your new look? You gotta be kidding me.
It's not. I'm beating the women off with a stick right now. So,
that
I guess
seems
you could
about
say
right
so.
Based on what you look like, a pimp.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Brandon, this is the worst look I've ever seen in my life. Like, are you going through a midlife crisis? You know you're old, right?
Oh yeah, I do know I'm old. I do.
You
know
loan
that.
those glasses from Dave Sharapan?
No. These are mine.
Be serious, dude. This is a joke you're playing on me with this necklace.
You look sharp. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's talk about the Mariners and the White Sox, and Lawrence can be amazed.
Absolutely.
Lawrence doesn't like it when anyone changes their look.
If I was trying to attract you, Prez, then I'd be a little disappointed today. So Brian Wu is taking on the mound here, and he's going against the White Sox. And when you, like Ralph said earlier, there's many ways to approach a game when you have a big favorite. And I do like the Mariners here, especially after the way they won yesterday. It's kind of demoralizing to lose a game like that if you're a team like the White Sox who can't win at all anyways. Brian Wu's numbers have been amazing. So here's a little trick to bet the favorites. Obviously, you don't want to bet minus 230 and take the Mariners, because the Mariners actually, like Ralph said, they're not hitting that well. Actually, in the last 10 days, the White Sox are actually hitting better than the Mariners. So the way that you can approach this is the way Ralph did, or you can also take pitcher to record a win. So you can get really good odds But there's a couple factors you have to overcome to win a pitcher to record a win. The first one is the pitcher has to go 5 innings, at least 5 innings. Brian Wu has no problem with that. He's gone 6 innings in his last 4 starts, and he's gone more than 5 innings in all but 1 start, and that was the first one of the season, so we'll forgive that. The second condition is your team has to be up when you come out of the game. So essentially, I like to look at this as like a first 5 run line. You have to be winning when he comes out, which is basically a minus 0.5 after 5 innings or 6 innings. And if you look at the numbers here for the Mariners, minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings is minus 140. Okay, so if we can clear that, the last thing is the bullpen has to hold on to the lead after he's removed. And Seattle's bullpen has had no problem. I have them ranked 7th out of 30 teams. So I don't think any problem there. So you can get plus 115 for Brian Wu to record a win. Try and say that fast. You can get plus 115 here for that. And it's much better odds than minus 140. It's much better than minus 230. So that's what I'm going with today. It's a small client play, just a 2% small one. But Brian Wu to record, I keep getting my tongue twisted. Brian Wu to record a win.
I can't even speak. I'm still sitting here like
phone sex?
Eddie, I'm in shock.
Phone sex.
Go ahead, Teddy.
Let's talk conceptually about this for a minute, because we're taking a 230 favorite and we're going, no, we don't want a 230 favorite. Let's 140 favorite. No, that's too high. Let's get it at minus 115 or plus 115 or whatever the number is right now. You're taking, but here's the question. All right. Yep. Wu has pitched about as well as anyone in baseball. All right. He's been dominant. He's given up 4 runs in 6 starts. All right.
Something like
He's
that.
not going to pitch any better than he has. He's going to pitch as well or worse than he has.
Yep.
And yet, pitching as dominant as a pitcher can pitch, if you'd have bet this in every game, you're 3-3. You know, he's only won 3 times. Does that? I mean,
yeah.
the guy can't pitch any better, and this hasn't been profitable. Why today is it better?
Teddy, you are really good with the devil's advocate questions. I had no idea that he was only. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see your point. If he can do this against the Yankees and the Royals, who are 2 top 10 lineups, I'm pretty confident he can do it against the White Sox. And the White Sox bullpen is historically bad, as we saw yesterday, up 4-1 in the 8th inning and then lose the game 8-4. So if it's 50-50 up to now, I would be more than happy to take plus money and bet that he's going to do that against the worst team in Major League Baseball. So it's really good that you brought that up. But anytime I can get this for plus money against a team like the White Sox and a pitcher pitching like Brian Wu, I'm going to take it.
So, Tokyo Brandon, I've been talking to Joe and Dan, and I'm told this is actually your new look. Now, I should not make fun of anybody's new look. I can't help myself. I'm talking to Dan. I'm like, I can't hold back. So,
I get that a lot.
Have you not gotten laid in the last 6 months to a year? Is this an attempt at wooing the wife? I want to. Is there going to be more necklaces coming on in the future? I hear Mark Zeno was so shocked at your look that he did this.
Maybe some chest hair in the future as well. Oh my goodness. Where did you guys do that? Oh my God. Okay. If I take the glasses off, can we talk about baseball?
You have to take the glasses off, the hat off, the shirt off, and the necklace off. Guys, that really is Tokyo Brandon. It's his new look. He's going through a midlife crisis. We love him dearly. And the most important thing is he's incredible at betting, regardless of his fashion sense. Okay, brother, Boston and Philadelphia.
What's more
regale us with your thoughts.
Okay, what's more important than that is he has a 5% play in Major League Baseball today, and he's number one in MLB profit at WagerTalk in 2024, plus 115% since the season started, doubling the bankroll. Number one in 3 of the last 4 years, all sports at WagerTalk, including 2024. I'm up 155% this year. So let's talk about the Red Sox. Kutter Crawford going against Philadelphia. This is another pitcher prop that I'm going to do. I just pulled this up, and it, sometimes when you're running your lines, Teddy can probably attest to this. When you run your lines in the morning, you go over it, and some things just pop out on the page. This one popped out on the page for sure. The odds are not so great. I think it's about minus 150. But Kutter Crawford throws about 8.32 strikeouts per 9 in his last month of pitching, which is right around league average. So if he finishes 9 innings, he'll probably strike out 8, is basically what we're saying here. But Philadelphia, they're one of the most disciplined teams at the plate. They're striking out only 6.6 times per 9 innings in the last month. Last 2 weeks to month. I kind of combine the stats. I don't go just month, but I have kind of a complicated algorithm there. But basically, you can expect 6.6 strikeouts per 9 for the Phillies. So if you run the math and if you add in how often Kutter Crawford goes deep into games, which is about 64%, comes to 4.7 strikeouts here. And his strikeout prop is, 6.5? I think 6.5 is way too high. So I'm going under on Kutter Crawford's strikeout prop today. Sorry, you're going to have to refresh my memory whether it was 6.5 or 5.5. But either way, I project him at 4.7. What was it? 5.5?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So I don't think he's going to get to 6 here. I have him projected at 4.7. So under 5.5 is my second play for the show. And remember, I have a 5% play out in Major League Baseball today. Let's see if Prez is going to talk about something besides what I'm wearing.
Nope, not at all. But thanks for asking, Tokyo Brandon. Look, dude, I mean, clearly it's How to Be a Gigolo by Tokyo Brandon. Thank you for being, dude, in all seriousness, who cares what you're wearing? I mean, when you're winning like you're winning, wear anything you bloody well want. Number one baseball expert in 2024. Number one all-profit expert in 2021, 2022, and 2024. If you look at that picture over there, he truly looks like a guy you can trust. He looks like a guy who knows his stuff. He's just having a moment in time right now where he looks like a person that you wouldn't trust. He will get his old look back, I assure you. Number one expert over the last 5 years, a betting god. What do you got going for the clients?
5% play out today in Major League Baseball. And I had a little surgical procedure on my head, which is why I have to wear a hat for about 3 months to cover some
Well,
scars.
I didn't know that. How do I know this?
Well, the Japanese like the look. So when I walk around the streets of Tokyo, the girls just fall down in front of me. So what can I say? Got to keep going.
Listen, if that's true, I would be in Tokyo in your look myself. Thank you for joining us, Tokyo Brandon. Peace out, brother. Teddy covers. Stop the presses. Stop the show. We have an 18-0 run going on right now. Guys, head over to Sports Memo. Ricky Tran is on an 18-0 run. That is correct. He has won 18 straight. 18 straight. My record is 15 straight. I got close to it twice in the last 6 months. 18-0. Marco's record is 21-0. I want so badly for somebody to beat Marco's record. It is Ricky Tran's play over at Sports Memo is only $9.50. Have you ever gotten anywhere near an 18-0 run?
I don't know. I doubt it because I probably would remember that. That being said, Lawrence, I don't remember anymore. I really don't. And I'm sure I must have had a couple of good runs at some point in my career. I don't know if I ever got 18-0 though.
I know I haven't. Big game breakdown time.
Let's do it. Big game breakdown. Why are we talking NFL right now? There's only one reason to make an NFL bet in June. That's to take advantage of a number that's not going to be there. This number is not going to be there. Let's talk about the Bengals and the Patriots right now. Look at the WagerTalk free live odds screen. Cincinnati -9 at most books. There are a couple 9.5s and 10s out there. Total 42.5 at most books. There are 43s out there if you shop around. Cincy's offense, we talk about the Zach Taylor era, and week one in particular of the Zach Taylor era, in no season was there an offensive outburst. In no season, he's been there 5 years, 5 previous years. In no season did Cincinnati's offense look ready to roll in week one. They scored 3, 24, 24 in regulation, 13 and 20 in those 5 week one games under Zach Taylor. That's an average of 17 points per game. And I'm not expecting anything dramatically different in week one this year. This is an offense that doesn't get a lot of playing time in the preseason and needs week 1/week 2 to get going. And of course, the Patriots, we know it's a new era. Jared Mayo, defensive mindset. He was a linebacker for the Patriots. He was the linebacker coach last year. They may be starting a rookie quarterback in Drake May. If it's Jacoby Brissett as the starting QB for New England, his track record's not at least. And on paper, really, when you start going through the NFL, the Patriots have the weakest offense in the league. There's not a strength to that offense. The minicamp reports yesterday were talking they couldn't move the ball at all. Wide receiving core, quarterback, offensive line, work in progress, new system. This game's got 21-10 written all over it, 24-13, something like that. And again, you're getting a hook off a key number at 42.5 that I don't think is going to be there. If you shop around, you can find a 43. I put this out for the clients last night. I'll give it to you this morning. Under Patriots Bengals, my first NFL play for week one. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, now that Tokyo is gone and likely not watching this show, I was gobsmacked. You got to warn me when you're coming on looking like that. And I'm hoping.
You look like Joe D'Amico.
No, he looked like Frank Sinatra with a sexual disease. I'm really hoping that Art saw that segment, ran into his room, changed his clothes, got a hat, put on those female glasses, and is wearing a native Indian necklace. Art DiCesare joining us, everyone. No.
Nope.
Nope.
Prez, you're
Sharp money
a
was in the
hater, man. You are a
Hater? What are you talking about? I don't hate on anything.
Dude,
I'm a major
just hated on
funner of
Tokyo.
him.
What
I
is
wasn't.
he? He's
I don't
such a
hate
sweet guy.
Tokyo.
You're a hater. You're a hater.
I don't hate Tokyo. I'm a maker funner of her.
Yeah, but you know what? When the tables are reversed and you get made fun of, you get a little sensitive.
No, I do not.
You get a little
I do
sensitive.
not, Art.
Oh,
I have the
bit.
thickest. Bring it, Art. Roast me, Art. Bring it.
Oh, I need some time to write things down. Oh, great. Yeah. You lift the weight. Good for you.
I'm away next week, Art. I'm away next week. The week after. Bring it. Okay.
Okay.
I have the thickest skin in the world. I'm Jewish. Anyway.
You're not away next week. You're here in Vegas next week. So I'm sure
not on the
you'll
show,
be in
genius.
Oh, yeah, but you can go into the Westgate and just call for Art. Every time you go in there, he loves to come out and see you.
Yeah, maybe I'll roast you in public.
No, roast me in public on air, bro. Art, listen, a couple of things before I hand the mic over to Teddy. Right off the bat, we had a person ask about betting first 3 innings. So I want to go through 3 things, Teddy. First 3 innings. I'm told it's a very it's a bet that FanDuel takes a lot of. Is this something the Westgate takes? Or you, because Teddy and I, we've never made that bet in our lives.
Never made the bet in my life either. Never seen the bet. I do know that some of the bigger shops like DK and FanDuel obviously do a lot of different things and offer a lot of different things. I mean, obviously we have our first fives and first inning and in-game betting throughout every baseball game, but no, we do not offer a first three. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Teddy, but I don't think I've ever even seen that in Las Vegas.
No, I haven't either. So, I mean, if one book's offer it, doesn't make it widely available. And I don't see a huge edge betting a 3-inning line versus a 5-inning line, in theory. I mean, in theory,
well, it's two rotations through verse 3, technically. So that's what they're looking at. All right, we're going to run the show slightly late today, Teddy. That's it. Make your face.
That didn't make any sense. Two rotations through what?
Batters. Okay.
So if you have 3 innings, you have to get 9 outs. So in theory, you're going to see the lineup once and then a few of the second time around.
Yeah.
If you have 5 innings, in theory, you're going to have to go through twice. Yes. Now you're making, but rotations.
Okay.
That speaks to pitching.
Art, my good pal Drake. He's not my good pal, and I can't stand his music. He has a $500,000 bet on Edmonton to win, money line, and a $500,000 bet on Dallas to win, money line. Are either of those bets coming through? Number one. Number two, where is he laying down so much? I mean, he clearly is a loser. No book is taking $500,000 bets on a regular basis from a guy who wins. Talk to me.
That's true. And the Drake stuff, I think, is a little fudged. I think, I don't know. I'm skeptical. Yeah. I know the guy's got a ton of money, but I'm skeptical that those are real bets. Maybe it's a sports book just looking for some pub, and, Drake likes to be out there. Once again, he has the money. I'm not questioning that, but I question the validity of those bets. Now, can either of the teams come back? In the NBA, I would say no. Hockey, I would say no too, but it's more likely in hockey than the NBA. I liked Boston and Florida in both series, but I mean, you saw last night, NHL 90%. If you're up 2-0, NBA, I'm sure it's something similar to that. Probably even higher. And we all know in the NBA, when you go up 3-0, if that were to happen, no team's ever come back, and it's only happened a handful of times in hockey. So Drake, with his real or fake bets, who knows? He's probably in a lot of trouble.
And Lawrence, I will make a strong hockey prediction just for you. The Dallas Stars will not win the Stanley Cup. That bet will lose for Drake this year.
You're a genius, Teddy. Thank you for that. So Johnny Detroit writes, when Prez gets made fun of, he tells people how much money he has. Yeah, that's fair. So Johnny, I know you're listening to the show. Me and Sean Alvarez, as in Sean Alvarez, we're going to organize a golf tournament hosted by the Prez, run by Sean Alvarez. Sometime we're going to figure it out. And I'm happy to have a roast the Prez night. You think I don't have thick skin? I bring it. Everybody bring it. You know why? Because I have a lot of money. Teddy, Art DiCesare. He's all yours.
So, Art, we didn't actually get any actual information about the hockey betting for Game 3. What are you seeing for Edmonton, Florida, after, in terms of early betting action, after the Panthers took a 2-0 series lead last night?
Yeah, obviously Panthers take a commanding lead. Edmonton opens -130, Game 3. Obviously, must-win game. This late in the season they all are, but it just feels like Edmonton will play better. Now, they played really well in the first, I would say, 2 periods of that Game 1. They were a little sloppy last night, but, there were opportunities. They didn't have a ton of shots on goal. Now you see the under 5.5, which we've had for Game 1 and Game 2. Juiced a little bit to the under now. Whereas all Game 1s were 5.5 over 15. You're now seeing 5.5 under 15. Both of the first games went under. And Edmonton, like I said, a nice size favorite at home, -130. the couple of days off might help Barkov. I don't know. Who knows what his injury really is. It's probably a concussion thing. If he misses game 3, that would be huge because he's been so important to Florida's defense. They got a lot of other guys as well. Edmonton's going to win game 3. They're going to make a series out of it. Florida's still going to win the game. But Edmonton is going to come out and play a really well, coach game, skilled game, all of that. They're going to take game 3. I feel that line eventually will go up. Obviously, we're a couple of days away.
So when you have a goalie that's standing on his head, like Bobrovsky's done in the first 2 games of this series, don't you just want to bet that team? I know there was a lot of support for Edmonton yesterday. I'm expecting there'll be a fair bit of support for Edmonton for game 3. And again, I know nothing about hockey betting, but I know this. I don't like to stand in front. If I'm betting it, I'm not stepping in front of the hot goalie. Doesn't Florida have the hot goalie right now?
Florida definitely has the hot goalie. I mean, we know how great Bobby's playing. But it is Edmonton with their offense, and they'll be at home. And if they get some power plays at home, which their power play has not been good, which is weird because it's the greatest power play that's ever been in the NHL. So you would think just the home ice, and like I said, if Barkov's out, that's obviously a really great defensive forward that Florida uses. He's really important on the power play or their penalty kill, all that type of stuff. So that could work against Florida. You just would think, and you're right, Teddy. You never want to get in front of that hot goalie. And you're right. That Edmonton line totally crashed yesterday. We saw nothing but Edmonton money come in. I saw some places basically you were getting Edmonton at, even money or even minus 105 by the time the game went off. So, obviously the money was wrong there. I expect a similar thing too, where you got Edmonton 130 now. You're probably going to see 135, maybe even minus 140 if some of the sharps come in and feel that Barkov's out. Let's lay the number.
Yeah, I know. Real quick, and then we'll get back to Teddy and you. We saw this power play in the Dallas series where they went 0 for many games, and then I think they went 4 for 5 in their last 2. So, I don't think everyone should just panic right now. The age-old saying, until you win a road game, this series is close. I don't think people should be, one of the gentlemen at the top of the show said there's going to be 2 sweeps. If there is a sweep, it's going to be in the NBA. Do you see a sweep in the NHL?
I do not, Chris. Listen, I got to be fair. I thought Florida in 6, but I really believe Edmonton wins game 3. I don't see a sweep. I think Edmonton, and you're right, Prez. I mean, obviously, even if you have the greatest power play of all time, they can go in little fits and spurts, and this is the time now where maybe they bust out of it and they get a couple. And you know as well as anyone, the first goal in game 3 is going to be huge. So
real quick, guys, the game turned last night on the missed 5-on-3 power play. It was 1-1 at the time, and it was 2-1 Florida, and the Oilers had a power play 5-on-4. They would have had 145 on a 5-on-3. The refs blatantly, it was an egregious miss. And it's something that will be reviewed next year, but not this year. Anyway, we're running out of time. I'm going to shut up. Teddy, go.
No, Lawrence, tell us more about your insights on the
hockey shut up, Teddy. I don't need your negativity. Go put on a Tokyo Brandon outfit.
I'm planning on it as soon as I get off air. Art DiCesare at ArtDice21. Art DiCesare at ArtDice21 on Twitter. Lawrence, you can't talk while other people are talking. You've done it all show. You did it all yesterday. Please. He's an excellent follow on Twitter, and he's most assuredly an excellent guest here on the show. Art, we've got to talk baseball. We've got to talk NBA. We're not going to have time to talk football today, but let's start with the association. Another 2-0 series lead. Another situation where the home team is now a short favorite. What are you seeing in terms of the action for game 3 of the NBA Finals? Celtics and Mavericks. Celtics 2-0 and 2-0 to the under so far in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big one, the total. But, Mavs open, short favorite, minus 1.5. We were 1 for a second, then we got to 1.5, 212.5 the total. This is obviously the standard. Home team comes home, down 0-2. First half is going to be higher than the game. First half is -2. First quarter is -1. which is basically the opener of the game. You figure the home team comes out really strong in a first quarter and a first half. That's why the numbers get inflated that way. You've seen 2 real dead unders in this series and a total of 212.5, showing you that there's been an adjustment, because obviously game 1 got completely bet up. Game 2 even got bet up a little bit, but you were sitting with openers at 214, 214.5, and then they kept climbing. So 212.5 is an opener. You're going to see the under money probably start coming in from the sharps. Public's going to continue to take the over because that's how they roll.
Let's talk about MLB for today. It's all interleague. Well, practically all interleague. 2 AL games, 2 NL games, and the rest interleague games. What are we seeing at the Westgate Superbook this morning? Who do the pros like? Who do the Joes like? Anything stand out to Art DiCesare?
Yeah, a couple of sharp things overnight. Red Sox, surprisingly, plus money at home, plus 145 overnight. 10-cent move now, plus 135 on Boston. That's interesting. It is the Phillies and it is Wheeler. And I guess sharps just feel the numbers too inflated with Wheeler on the road. He's been great throughout the year. He's had a couple of shaky spots on the road, but I don't think that's enough to see why they would go against him. But it obviously is a big number to lay with Philadelphia. A game that I know Brandon touched on, White Sox, Seattle, under money. We were under 7, even, flat, minus 110. Now under 125. Does it get to 6.5? Not sure. Brandon Wu's been very impressive, and obviously Seattle's bats haven't been that great, so that's why you've seen under money. And the big public play of the day, the play that you've seen in all the early parlays, is if you give the public these really good teams on plus money, Baltimore today is one of them versus the Braves. They're going to gobble up Baltimore plus money, so they're happy to take Baltimore in all their parlays at plus 114.
Wonderful stuff. Art DiCesare, we love having you on, and thank you for doing this now twice a week. Obviously, Teddy and I would like to have you on 5 times a week, but you have a job, and I respect that. I spoke to Sean Alvarez, who's organizing the Prez tournament. Can we do it with Westgate? Find out. Let's see if we can do like a Westgate sponsored tournament, golf tournament hosted by the Prez. So yes,
and then
so can we do it at the Westgate? Absolutely. Will the Westgate sponsor it?
Well, we don't need to give money, dude. We don't need money.
No. But we'll do the roast in the Barry Manilow Theater. We'll get a big crowd. We'll sell concessions, and you'll cry the whole time because you're going to get ripped, and you can't handle it.
Sure. Oh, okay. Challenge accepted. Love you, Art. What do you got to promote?
As always, guys. And Teddy, listen, we didn't do any football, but let's do some football Friday. Obviously, we can talk, and we'll do some more football on Friday. As always, guys, Westgate, come down. I know, obviously NHL and NBA are coming to an end here, but we still got all the baseball. Listen, we got Euros starting this week, so, soccer, we got a lot of that stuff up. Golden Boot, most assists, group outrights, overall outrights. Obviously, the U.S. Open starts this week for golf, so there's a lot of stuff going on, and you're going to have all your football stuff, too. So continue to look on the Westgate app. You got a lot of stuff on the menu to be, to put some wagers down on, and a lot more coming. And any questions, always ask, please.
Art, 30 seconds. U.S. Open bet. I forgot to discuss it.
I mean, Scheffler obviously is just the runaway guy, and with him being 7-2, it's just hard. He doesn't take any money because of his odds, and everyone else takes money. You didn't see any Tiger money this week, which is interesting. His odds are just so blown out of proportion now.
Love it. Art DiCesare, everyone. What a fun show. Real huge shout out for Tokyo Brandon for making my day. Teddy Covers, take us home.
Enjoy the games. Good luck. We'll be back again tomorrow. Cheers.